So a viewer writes in, hey David, how do I get my children to respect me? Come on, for men like us, it's about honor and respect, isn't it? Listen, in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to get your children to respect you. That's coming up today on My Virtual Mentor. Hey, my friend, it's David. I lead men to go further, faster in their faith in Jesus Christ. If you're new to the channel, man, welcome. I am so glad that you found us here. Man, I have such a passion to help men to go further, faster in their faith, particularly men that didn't have a dad in the house or a spiritual mentor. They just don't know the practical nuts and bolts of the Christian faith, the basic life skills of what does it mean to be a fully developing follower of Jesus. And man, so every one of these videos, we're responding to questions. If that interests you and you want to get some practical tools in your discipleship toolbox, then please consider subscribing. And as a way of saying thank you, I'd love to invite you to do a 21-day challenge with me, 100% free, 100% online. What's a 21-day challenge? It's a power tool to jumpstart positive change in your life. So if you're interested, stick around. I'll tell you how to do that for free at the end of this video. Okay, so let's get right into it. Hey, David, how do I get my children to respect me? Okay, well, let's talk about just some basic things about respect. First of all, respect is earned. You know this, I know this, and that's just a basic principle. Secondly, respect must be modeled. Okay, and the last thing I would say is that respect, it's more caught than taught. Wouldn't you agree with that? So when we're dealing with the thought of children, I mean, we got to factor in their age and their stage. I mean, that's a wide berth for children's ages, all the way from infants to toddlers to elementary school, junior high, high school, college age, living at home, or adult children, young adults and adult children, that maybe they have kids. Maybe you're a grandfather watching me. So you have to treat different stages and ages differently. Okay. And so for the purposes of this, let me give you some parental algebra here. Okay. I'm going to call it that. You see it on the screen here. R plus R plus R minus R equals R plus R. What does that mean, David? Well, here, let me unpack that for you. Rules plus regulations plus restrictions minus relationship equals rebellion plus resistance. I'm telling you, that is rock solid math right there. Rules plus regulations plus restrictions minus relationship equals rebellion and resistance. It's going to happen every time. Whether as your children grow up, they're going to need this relationship factor, okay? So listen, there's some ways that we can lose respect with our kids. Now, when the kids are small and whatnot, there's boundaries, and if you're married and have your wife in the home, you can partner together and work together to have routines and rituals and rhythms of life and rules and duties and chores and training and all those discipline things. We need that. But for the purpose of this video, I want to talk about as your children get older, they're in their late teens, there's some ways that they can lose respect for us. One way would be like we get caught up in an addiction, okay? That can really seriously affect our credibility. Or perhaps, there was an incarceration situation where you were put in jail or prison or served time because you did something illegal, unethical, and immoral, and you're in jail. Okay, so there's that. Maybe it was a nasty divorce, and now you're, in a blended family situation. Either, you're trying to, gain the respect back from the children, your natural biological children, or perhaps there are stepchildren in the situation and they just don't know you very well yet. So how do you build respect with them? And then maybe there was an abuse situation. Maybe, there was some abuse and they have just lost respect for you because of something that you said or something that you did. Okay. Now, there's some other ways you could lose respect that aren't as dramatic. Those are pretty extreme examples, like unmet expectations. You said that you would do it and you didn't do it. you've broken their trust and they've lost some respect for you. Or, your integrity has taken a ding. It's lapsed because you did not keep your word. You were a promise breaker, not a promise keeper. And, maybe it was your harsh tone or the words that you said in anger and you kind of regret it and you feel guilty and bad about it. But, the toothpaste is out of the tube, man, and you can't take it back and you've got to make it right. But some respect has been lost. Listen, if that's you, there's hope. I've got 3 tips for you to do it. Now, first, we're going to have to learn about respect. We're going to have to live it. And then we're going to have to lead in that way, okay? So let me give you 3 tips real quick on how to get my children, particularly your adult children, when you've suffered some type of disrespect situation there, to respect you. Here's the first one, and that is you need to be respectable. Okay, is that fair to say? To be respectable. I got some ABCs for you here. First of all, you need to be authentic. You need to be just genuine, vulnerable, transparent. You just ditch this fake it till you make it kind of crap, okay? That's not working. A young person can, spot that a mile away. I love what Pastor Craig Rochelle says. He says, people would rather follow someone who's always real than someone who's always right. So if you put your halo away and the fact that, do as I say, not as I do, you're liable to make some ground there. Here's the second thing, and that is be consistent. Be consistent. Just keep showing up. Just keep keeping your word. Just keep doing what you say you're going to do. Pay your bills. Keep your word. Stay true to what you said. And that consistency over time will begin to build up your credibility account in their eyes. I don't know who said this, but with consistency, even the snails made it to Noah's Ark. Okay, that's a bizarre example. I want you to get that in your mind, that just keep going forward. Eventually, you're going to collide with success, okay? And then letter C is be wise. Be wise. Listen, you don't have to do this all on your own. A wishful thinking or saying a short prayer, snapping your fingers or whatever is not going to get, instant respect from your kids. But listen, ask God. James 1 verse 5, it says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he's going to give it to you. This is James chapter 1 verse 5. Your job, ask for it. His job, grant it generously. He's not going to hold this against you, okay? Listen, I'll tell you how I, am trying to be a wise guy. First of all, I hang around wise people, okay? I listen to wise guys on podcasts. I read books and all of that. But I read the greatest book ever, and that is, the Bible, in particular the book of Proverbs. It's the wisdom literature, the wisdom of the ages that God wrote mostly through a man named Solomon, who said, God, give me wisdom. And he wrote, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, right? But Proverbs in particular, I read a chapter a day, whatever the day is. Today is the 8th. I read Proverbs chapter 8. Yesterday the 7th, tomorrow the 9th. And I do this continuously, year after year after year after year. And I think I'm getting a little sharper the more I get into that wisdom literature. Okay, here's the second thing, is respect them. So be respectable, number 1. Number 2 is respect them. What are you saying, David? Here's some ABCs. First of all, respect their choices. Particularly your adult children, they have an opinion. I know that that's not always fun to deal with, but they have an opinion, Josh was talking about, look, choose you this day whom you will serve. God has given us a free will to choose, and we have to respect that. Here's some choice areas that your teenager, your young adult, your adult children have. It's politics. Okay, wow. Well, there's a hot topic. Okay, but don't trash the relationship because you differ politically. Don't do that. Media choices. Or sports teams. Last night we watched the Super Bowl. Part of my family was for the Chiefs, and part of the other side were for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, right? Okay, but we had a great time together because we just respected one another's choice to rave for their favorite team. Or churches, if they choose to go to one church over another church, listen, man, it's not a hill to die for. Just respect their choices. I love what John Maxwell taught was the 101% principle. Find the 1% of things you can agree on, give it 100%. That's pure genius, man. Thank you, John Maxwell, for that. Here's letter B, and that's respect their boundaries. What do you mean, kids have boundaries? I thought adults we're supposed to set the boundaries. Well, when you have an adult child, good luck with that, right? Okay, well, here's some boundaries. Like kids, for example, my wife and I, there was a period of time we were vegetarians. So we'd send them over to my mom and dad's and say, hey, please, we're vegetarians, please respect that, and they'd fire up the grill, feed them a hamburger, or run them through the drive-through to get her a Happy Meal, and then she'd open the candy drawer at her home and say, pick out anything you want there. It's like, oh, Mom, come on, work with us here. But respect their values and stuff, or their boundaries, on media and discipline, and we want the kids to go to bed at a certain time. We don't want them to watch these certain things. Listen, if you go over their boundaries, they're going to deal with that. By withholding their kids, maybe your grandkids or something. So just be wise about that. And the letter C is respect their values, okay? Their choices, their boundaries, and their values, okay? These values are things we hold so passionately in our heart. And so you got to be wise. If you're going to win their respect, you're going to have to kind of, you don't have to like what they believe or value. You don't have to agree with it, but you do have to respect it. So the second big idea is you need to respect them. And here's the last thing, and that is focus energy to build relationships. Okay, remember this equation here. Well, listen, when you have an adult child and you're dealing with a respect issue, okay, everything's out. You don't have rules and regulations and restrictions on them anymore. I have a 29-year-old daughter, okay, and I can't tell her what to do anymore. She's not even living in the household. And so I've got relationship. This is what I have to leverage and deal with. And so here's what I'm trying to do, man. I am shifting my priorities. When my daughter comes by to visit, listen, I stop and drop things, okay? It's like, you want to take the Huskies for a walk? Fine, let's go right now, because I know when we walk, we talk. So shift your priorities and shift your schedule. Come on, life is too short and our kids are a moving target. And we're going to have to kind of move at the speed of their life sometimes. And I know we can get rigid and routine and there are things we can't get out of. I get that. But when you can shift your adjust your schedule to match theirs and mirror theirs so that you can get on the same page and in their life. And then lastly is to, communicate and connect intentionally. That is on you, that's on me. Us taking the lead. Remember, learn, live, and lead. Let's be proactive and intentional about reaching out and communicating in the way that they feel comfortable communicating. For example, my adult daughter, at working full-time and being a full-time university student, she likes Marco Polo, these videos app, because it's whenever she wants to watch it, it's very convenient for her. So man, I'm just trying to wear that thing out, right, to connect and communicate with my daughters while she's in the car. She can watch that or listen to that video while Dad's talking to her. Okay, all right, so let's review these tips. All right, here we go. Number 1, be respectable. Number 2, respect them. And lastly, focus energy on building relationships. We're talking about how do I get my children to respect me. That's all ages, but particularly those that maybe you've had a little respect glitch. This is some ways that maybe you can do that, okay? So I hope that is helpful for you, my friend. So I got a question for you. Are you up for a challenge? Man, I'd love for you to do a 21-day challenge for me, 100% online, 100% virtual, free. It's called Launch with David. You can start anytime or with a cohort of men that we're doing it the first of next month. The link is in the description below. It's called Launch with David. Check it out, okay? So listen, leave a comment, leave a question, and maybe I'll make a video out of it. I do read every single comment, okay? And I would love to engage with you on this and help you develop some life skills and practical nuts and bolts in your Christian faith, all right? So that's it for today. I'm David, your virtual mentor, leading men just like you to go further, faster in your faith. I'll see you next video.